Hey folks, welcome back again. I just wanted to take a little time and expand on something I mentioned in that short the other day, but I ran out of time because the shorts are they're short. Anyway, so as you can see here, there is the old wiring harness out of the Volvo. And I mentioned that for 1993, it turns out there are two different wiring harnesses that are possible. One is called the PAL harness, and it will have a fuse block that's essentially bolted to the positive terminal on the battery. And the fuel pump relay gets its power from right there. On non-PAL cars like mine, you'll see there is no fuse block there. And if you come over to the 24-pin connector, you'll see this big fat red wire right there. Right there. That wire is the wire that goes and powers the fuel pump relay. And that wire runs back to your number 6 fuse in the fuse block. Now, Dave Barton is the only place that you can get a new wiring harness for, I think, most of the Volvos these days. He has them made in the Netherlands, and he only has the PAL version. So the PAL version will have this spade connector, which goes into the bottom of the fuse block. So if you have a non-PAL car, like I do, because I can never do anything the easy way, I have a couple options. I can either try to feed this back into the harness, back into the 24 pin, and pin it out in the correct place in the harness, which would be fairly difficult and time consuming to do. Not impossible, but fairly difficult to do considering the way the harness is all bundled, and I don't want to have to cut the harness open, and I don't want to have to try to feed this wire back, anything like that. Another option is that, and this is a shout out to one of the moderators at Turbo Bricks, I believe it's Too Many Turbos, I believe is who it is. He and I talked about it, and his suggestion, which is what I'm going to try, is to tap in to this block, which is on the side of it's inside the fender, and there is an open port right in the back. Now, the problem I have is that I have a male spade connector, and to connect to that, I would obviously need a female spade connector. Second problem is that is a fused connection. So what the plan is to I've picked up the parts. I've got a waterproof inline fuse holder. I've got some female spade connectors, and I'm going to essentially make a jumper that will let me take this and plug it in there. And at that point, I should have switched power to my fuel pump. So that is going to be one of the next steps. Well, the next step, now that I've got the majority of the harness is in now, I've got everything connected. The only things that aren't connected now is I still need to do the fuel. Man, boy, just total brain fart. Fuel injectors. I've got to get these on, but I've got to put the intake manifold back in, and get it all back in and secured, and then I can go ahead and reconnect this. I've got the map connector, and I've got the connector that also goes on the intake manifold. That's all I've really got left to hook back up here. So pardon that noise in the background if you're hearing it. That is my very noisy well pump. So anyway, next order of business, let's get the intake manifold back in, get all the wiring reconnected, and before I hook this up, I'm just gonna spin it over and make sure that everything is spinning over. I think I need to recheck my timing belt, but I'll double check that. Get that harness put together, get that connected so my fuel pump is working. At that point, I'll try to start it, and if it starts and runs, then once that's established that it's starting and running again without setting the car on fire again, I will go ahead, put the front of the engine back together, get the radiator back in, get the covers back on, the timing belt, get the new belts installed, get the fan and everything back in, and hopefully I will have a running and driving with a new water pump, new alternator, new starter, new wiring harness, new whole bunch of stuff. 93-240. So anyway, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Y'all have a great evening, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.